Hey all, welcome to this week's favorite collection here at the CIOPCC. Now we really have two sections left to finish. We have the red section, which is huge. It's the DC section, but it's still mostly Batman. It has two 8-foot long towers in front of it that are all DC, and it has a whole bunch of stuff on the wall as well. So that one we're going to hold off till next week, and today we're going to go and do the middle. Now the middle has three towers that are 3 foot by 4 foot, but they only have 3 shelves each. I did that with these 3 towers. Here's the first one, because each one will have something up on top that is so huge, otherwise I wouldn't have had any room for it. So let's look at the first section here. Lots of Ghostbusters on these first 2 shelves, starting with the Ecto one from Blitzway. Terrific vehicle, 6 scale, lights and sounds, really an excellent car, along with their set of the 4 Ghostbusters. And while they aren't perfect, I honestly do not need to ever replace them. I am happy with this set. Good looking set of figures, fantastic car. As you can see down here around the back. So you can tell I needed a 3 foot by 4 foot shelf just to put that vehicle on. But height-wise, I needed to have this top shelf so I could display the front of the firehouse from Diamond Select Toys. This thing is way taller than the 22 inches I have on my top shelves. No way it was going to be able to be fit anywheres. So this was the ideal place for it. And we have a lot of Ghostbusters in front of it from Diamond Select, although that Slimer there is from NECA. It's probably the best Slimer anybody's done. Mattel did the large 18-inch Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. He's nice and squishy. I think that was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. And those are some Mattel Ghostbusters fighting him. And then down on this corner, we have the nifty Firehouse from Playmobil. Playmobil did some nice Ghostbusters sets. You're going to see some more of them in a minute on the next shelf. But yeah, they did all kinds of cool accessories. They did some of the Ghosts figures. It's a lot of fun. So we got some more Ghostbusters on the next shelf down. Remember, there were some Ghostbusters over in the miscellaneous section as well. Some 12-inch from Mattel and the 112 collective stuff that was mixed in with the 112. But most of the Ghostbusters, 90% of it, are on these 2 shelves. And this is another Diamond Select Toys playset. This is the rooftop playset that they did first. And mixed in there, we have figures from Diamond Select, we have figures from NECA, we have figures from Hasbro, we have figures from Mattel. Just about everybody took a swing at this license. Some more successfully than others. Diamond Select is one of the few that's done some really amazing real Ghostbusters. They did a nice job with those. And there we have some of the newer figures from the more recent movie. Unfortunately, the most recent movie, Frozen Empire, does not have any good figures from it yet. They have the cartoony versions, but I avoided those. That's from Mattel. That's from the very first Mattel line from the original Ghostbusters movie. And down here in front, we have some more of the Playmobil vehicles. Like I said, you would see some more Playmobil, and that's Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. He's also from Playmobil. As I was mentioning there, the new movie doesn't have any good figures yet. We did get these from the previous movie. This is what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for something in a more realistic style, and this is the ones we got from the first film of the reboot with the new kids taking over. Lots of Ecto 1s. I'm a big fan of the vehicle. This one is the Hot Wheels Elite version. Everybody and their brother too has done the vehicle. As a matter of fact, there's the one back there that transforms. You'll see that there's some carded figures in here. I have some more that are boxed up and put away. Stuff that is particularly hard to get, I've kept boxed. Like most of the time. You know, stuff that was more unusual or unique, I've kept carded. And when we come back around this way, we're back at the beginning again. So that's 2 shelves. Let's see, 24 square feet of Ghostbusters. Down here we have cars, and more cars. There's 4 levels of cars here. I'm a huge fan of Cars. You can see there's the Elvis. I love that one. And when I first started buying these, right after the first movie, I was all in. I was going to be a completist on these things. And I bought everything they came out with, which is a lot of versions. Not only did they do a lot of Cars, you'll notice there's some similar ones. Some of the characters are similar. They had slightly different expressions and they would give them a different name. Let's go down around to this one over here. You can see some planes flying in the air, some helicopters. But as you can see with the racers down here, some of them look identical at first glance. None of these are identical, I will swear. I will promise you. Oh, one is rolling back there. We've got to pull him out. He's trying to get away. But everybody has something slightly different going on. Up here we have a lot of the race teams. And then we get into the bigger ones again. And the bigger ones, a lot of times, are where I really, really like what they've done. But like number 17 down here, I think that's Daryl Cartrip. The eyeballs are different. The front, the smiles are different. The expressions. And in some cases, there'll be one that has rubber tires, one that has plastic tires, etc. So they would change things up. And that really made it impossible to be a completist with this line. So I gave up that crazy notion. And I just stuck with nowadays buying only ones that really scream, wow, you got to have this. Because if I buy one now, I'm completely out of shelf space. As a matter of fact, there are times when I think, you know what, I've got to use up these. You're going to see a whole nother shelf of these. And I think, man, that's 24 square feet of shelf space I could use for something else if I just get rid of all those cars. Well, it's a lot of cars to get rid of. As a matter of fact, I have a whole bunch of them that are boxed away as well, still carded. So if I ever do that, it'll free up a lot of space. But you'd think before I could do that, I have to stop buying ones. And you'll notice that dinosaur one right there in the middle, he's brand new. I'm still buying them on occasion. So the odds of me stopping, at least at this point, are kind of slim. And no, I don't have the Apple car. Everybody always asks that because that's the impossible one to get. I do not have that one. So, down here at the bottom, we have some that are like 1/18th maybe scale. Die-cast. These were pretty cool. They did several of the characters. I have some of them boxed. I have some of them loose. I didn't try to get all of these either, but I thought, well, they're kind of cool. Some of them were exclusives, like I think that Doc Hudson was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. And in front, we've got a couple of Lego Ghostbusters. I don't have the big Ecto one. I really wish I did, but I just can't convince myself to spend that kind of money on it. So there we have the first tower. So let's go down over here and look at a couple Detolfs. Yes, I do have Detolfs. I have two of them. I bought these two Detolfs when I was thinking about how I might set up this barn. And fortunately, I got them in white. I only paid 25 bucks a piece for them. And once I set the whole barn up, I thought, well, you know what? I got to use them somehow. So I set them behind Sully here. On the top of this one, we've got some little miniature PVC Monsters, Inc. figures, including one of the play sets. I'm a big fan of everything Monsters, Inc., so I've tried to keep up with unique characters, including the new TV show that Disney Plus has. Monsters at Work. I've done smaller scale PVC type stuff as well, and McDonald's toys, those are all here. And when we get down to the very bottom shelf, we get into some Avatar. Most of this, all of this is Diamond Select, except for Appa, of course, who came from McFarlane. Over on the next side, we got Warner Brothers. And we start on the bottom. If you don't recognize these, that's because you're too young. These were from the 60s and 70s. Dakin did these. Terrific little series of vinyl figures. This is when vinyl figures weren't like the artsy thing. And I pick those up once in a while. Most of them are from my childhood, but I still pick them up once in a while when I can find them on a really good price. Here we have some of the McFarlane, one of the McFarlane sets mixed in with some other Warner Brothers characters. More of the McFarlane sets here. You can see one of the reasons I hate Detolfs is because of that glare off the glass. I hate stuff in cases. when you can't see it without opening the case up. Also, these shelves are super slippery. I know why people have to put stuff on display stands with these shelves, because they fall over and slide all over the place. More of the Warner Brothers sets from McFarlane, along with some other PVCs. On the very top, we have some Kung Fu Panda. This is the complete 2-inch line. What are they? 3-inch line, the PVCs and the play set. When we come around on the other side of these, you're going to see that on the top, we have the rest of the larger figures. These are like the 4-inch, 5-inch figures from Kung Fu Panda. And they run over there with some more Monsters, Inc. from Monsters University. So those are the two Detolfs that are here in the center. I might want to mention some of the stuff on the ceiling in the center. There's a Millennium Falcon. This is the one that was from, what, 10, 15 years ago? That they then reissued, which you can see in the box down over here in the vintage collection. 6-scale helicopter, a Little Bird helicopter with a couple of military figures in it. One thing about those military figures, unfortunately, let's walk around over here so you can see the front of it. Unfortunately, they did not make this vehicle big enough. So the two pilots are both female figures, probably from 21st century, because they fit perfectly. All right, let's go down this way and talk about the second tower. Again, it's a big tower, 3x4, and its purpose in life was because I wanted to put Castle Grayskull with Talon up there on top, have it all in one piece, and that's way bigger than 22 inches. First, we'll talk a little bit about what's on the ceiling. Of course, that's the NECA Balrog from Lord of the Rings. Those things are amazing if you can find one in nice shape. They tend to have damaged legs or tails when you find them these days, thanks to the weight. And there's some variety of Masters of the Universe Classics figures and vehicles flying around up on the ceiling. On the top shelf, we have, of course, Castle Grayskull, as I mentioned. But we also have a nice assortment of the Masters of the Universe collection loose. Lots and lots of figures in this collection. I am complete. Oh, we're falling over. This is one of those collections that I am complete on, with one exception in my opinion. Now, I did not get the very first San Diego Comic-Con release, which they also did a variant on. However, they did the figure later as part of the run, so I'm good on that one. The other figure I'm missing is a Skullcon that went with the vehicle up there. I got the vehicle on a steel. He was complete otherwise except for the figure. So I'm looking for a loose figure to go with that eventually. Front side of Master of the Universe Classics Castle Grayskull. Castle Grayskull's gotten several releases in different lines, but this is my favorite. I think this is a fantastic playset, as you'll notice when I did my top 10 playset list earlier this week. Inside, you got all kinds of figures, vehicle. So they are nicely packed in there. Plenty of figures on that shelf. Come down another shelf, and we have more of the line loose. All standing here together. I did not do the line when Super 7 took over. I have like the very first ones they did, the very first few. And then I decided that I wasn't going to be picking up any more of those. So I stopped when Mattel stopped. And these are carded ones. These are some of the more difficult to get carded figures. Kept them on the card rather than open them up. Characters like Fisto, of course. And Queen Marlena. There's the Pope Mobile down there. It's one of my favorite cars. Come down around the side, and we got another double row of loose figures in front. So if you're a big Masters of the Universe Classics fan, I am too. Which is interesting because I could not possibly care less about the cartoon. I do not have any cartoon in the Masters of the Universe world, and there's been plenty of them, including some of the new ones, that speaks to me. Don't care about any of it. But this line, I think these are terrific action figures. And I think Mattel did a fantastic job when they did this line. You're going to see some more of it in just a minute on the floor. But let's step down here and look at more cars. There's some box sets in back, some of the play sets, and a couple of the exclusives over here. And on this shelf, while there's a few other vehicles, this is mostly Tow Mater. Lots and lots of different versions of Mater. That's, again, a character that they like to do in all kinds of ways. And so I kind of collected them all here together on this side of the shelf. As we go down around, you're going to see odds and ends, some more carded stuff, because believe it or not, some of this stuff is very hard to come by. I love the Wedding Day set. That's one of my favorites. And, of course, the Comic-Con set where Mater's in the bathroom. I thought that was pretty cute. And some of the Monsters, Inc. and some of the other crossover stuff they did. And some of my favorites, too. Around this side, we have McQueen. The other character that they've done lots and lots of. So there's some up on top there, some down over here. That's a new McQueen, of course. Space Creature McQueen. And I'm running out of room for McQueen. So now I'm at that same point again where any McQueen variant I get has to get swapped out for something else. These Storyteller sets are pretty cool. I think they were a Target exclusive at the time, and they have some really cool characters in them. Oh, and the last side over here, we have more odds and ends on the bottom part, including tractors. I kind of got a thing for the tractors. Some more McQueens up on top. Some of the box sets that are particularly cool, and some exclusives. Now on the very bottom, we got more Masters of the Universe Classics. This is the box stuff that I didn't want to open up. There's a cool battle ram. If you were watching, you noticed there was a Granomir up on top that was green. There's the red one. I figured if I had both of them, I would open one of them up. A few more of those across the bottom over here. Some of the Cars over on this side. I don't know if I mentioned those earlier, but I probably did. Those Cars play sets. One of the posters over here. Now, these posters came with the Masters of the Universe figures. And I've got them all framed down across here. They do a nice job of hiding the boxes that are underneath the shelves down there. They were a fun little addition that you got to have with the figures. Now, last set, last tower in the center, in the middle. Again, 3x4, 3 shelves. The problem for this one, the big item that I had to have some kind of space for, was the Hot Toys Hulkbuster. Again, massive. Way too big to go anywhere else. Certainly wasn't going to fit on one of my 22-inch shelves. There's the glove on, the alternate arm down there. So I set up a Tony Stark lab up here. So you got a couple of the suits. 112 Collective Batman. You'll see why he's up there in a minute. A few different Tonys, the gantry. So come down around this way. Very early Tony. They certainly improved over time with those head sculpts. And then on this side, very much his lab with a few different suits. A couple different versions of him. Tables with all kinds of goodies on them. Various equipment. And as you can see, this shelf will also give me an opportunity if I need to. I've got some room there to rearrange things and add a few more 6-scale Iron Man related figures as time goes by. Up above it is the Batplane from the DCC Batman Animated Series line, which is right over here on this shelf. Next shelf down, we have 112 Collective, DC Marvel. Now, I have a whole video on these. So if you want to see what these guys are like in up close and personal, there's a video that talks about each one of the sections of the 112 Collective. One for the DC Marvel stuff, another video for the unlicensed Rumble Society Gomez stuff, and then a third one for the licensed stuff that isn't DC and Marvel. But this is just a quick look at the fact that they're all here. On the DC and Marvel side, I am pretty complete. The only things I'm missing, I have nothing on the Marvel side that I'm missing. I have everything. But I am missing 3 DC figures. I am missing the Batman and Black Mask 2-pack, which I do plan on picking up one of these days. I'm just waiting for a great deal. And the very first Batman from the Toy Fair, the black and white one, which is exactly not a figure I should have missed out on. That was my fault. I didn't make it to Toy Fair that year, and I paid the price. So I'm probably never going to end up with that one. And that's something I can live with. As you can see, the other Batmen are over on this side here. Lots of different versions, including more of the Dark Knight versions, including the Puerto Rico con. So yeah, if you want to see that in a little more detail, like I said, there is a Batman, there's a 112 Collective video out there for the DC Batman and Marvel stuff. On the next shelf down, we got some building figures, lots of Lego. Batman and Robin there. We got the Batman 66. I didn't get the bigger set with the big Batmobile, but I picked up that one. I could at least justify that one. I have some other sets across in back there that are still boxed, as well as the loose figures, especially the little, not just the the Batmobiles, but the loose figures from a couple of the different waves. There's some Kubricks mixed in. And on this side, there's even more boxed Lego. That's something I've kind of stopped buying. I was kind of going a little nuts with it for a while. On this side, we have some of the Detolfs Batmobiles in front of some other goodies. I like that Batwave. That's pretty cool. And the little Power Wing Bat laptop. Detolfs has done a nice job giving us all of these die-cast Batmobiles. The pink one's my favorite, but the other ones are all pretty cool as well. Hope we get some more. And then when we come around this final side, oh, we already did that side. So, see, we're good on that side. But on the bottom, that's a poster from the 112 Collective. A Batman TV and DVD player. Still works great. That was in my son's room when he was young. A couple of the huge Lego sets, including the giant tumbler from several years ago. And a couple more of the sets down here. And we finish up around on this side with the transforming Batcave still boxed, with a couple of other Batman vehicles still boxed. So, there you go. That's the center of the room. That is the 3 towers plus the 2 Detolfs that fill the center right now. I do have a table in the middle with some chairs as well. That gives me some place to sit, take pictures, talk to people. Eventually, I could actually take and use that space for at least 1 more tower, maybe 2. But for now, I don't need that expansion, and I'm trying to control myself. So, that's our favorite collection for this week. Hopefully, you'll subscribe, and on Friday, we will do an acquisition report. Hope you're having a great week collecting.